called Triguna and Yoga-Sadhana. When you talk of this topic, Triguna Theory, Yoga, Sadhana, and if I put Yoga-Sadhana together, that makes 4 topics. And that's an immense ocean of knowledge, which I myself am incapable of handling. And more so, the topic is so vast that it's just not possible for anyone to summarize it into, say, 45 minutes or max 1 hour. What I shall attempt to do is talk a little bit about Triguna Theory, which all of you as experts are already aware of it. Then go into sadhana and try and put Triguna and sadhana and yoga together to see what does it have for us in the contemporary world today. It has been our ancient Indian knowledge system. It has been followed for thousands of years. Having knowledge in our knowledge bank is one part, and using this knowledge for our day-to-day purpose in Kali Yuga as of today would give us essence of the entire philosophy for our practical use. So I shall attempt to take you all towards the contemporary world and take you through this series through a presentation of mine. Let me share my screen. Just a minute, please. Oh, somebody will have to help me out too. Dr. Chandra, can you help me out with the... Okay, let me see if I can.
Rohitji, there is an arrow in your screen. There is a small arrow.
Yeah, I've seen that arrow. Right. I'm clicking on the... Yes.
And then...
you all can see the presentation and me. The Google Meet doesn't provide facility for me to see you and seek your responses. I would have loved to do that. But before we really go into, I just wanted everyone to, for a second, switch on your cameras for me to see all your faces, if it is possible. I'll humbly request. Let me see your smiling faces and see that, are we all okay? Thank you, Shrini sir. Thank you, Dr. Kailash. Hello, Rao sir. May I see Professor Das? Kahan chupe hai? Thank you very much. Sahu Saab and others, kindly switch on your camera for 30 seconds or 20 seconds. I just wanted...
Anup sir, please. Anup sir.
It's all right. It's all right. Anybody who's wanting, willing. Thank you, Akshita. She's one of our students following me and our society. I have a very humble, simple question to all the smiling faces here. Are we all happy? Yes, I see one TPS sir ka haath bada quickly and rightly went up. Yes, I can see Akshita. And all smiling faces, yes. Thank you, Mishra madam. Thank you very much. So thank you. You are at will and choice. I find that majority of us are smiling, saying yes, and all is hunky-dory, everything very good in life. So if I can PPS Pramod sir, if I can humbly say that majority of us are happy. And we've got what we wanted in our lives, or we are getting what we want in our lives. If I consider the majority opinion as I hear and see all of you, the answer given is yes, thumbs up, wonderful. And if the answer is yes, then I humbly submit the session is over.
No, that is why I say I am 50-50.
Okay, you're 50-50. So Triguna is all about leading you to a very balanced life. Leading to what? Sattva, the predominance of happiness, predominance of all goodness in our lives. And sadhana gives you that technique which makes you the balance, which gives you the objective, the target. And if that be so, you're all learned people. We all understand the world today. We all understand pluses and minuses of this world. And if that be so, is the session really required? As Shini said, Eds and others, the session is required not only amongst us, but for the world at large. Kali Yuga, not only today, the Yuga ever since have had both pluses and minuses. And the environment as such is 75% negative. How is it that we can make it positive? You and me, despite being 100% positive, majority of us around us still need support, help to be balanced in life. And when I take you through this particular session, I would urge to flow with me to understand the topic and the perspective in the same manner as I'm trying to convey. I am only trying to convey that the theory that has existed with us for thousands and thousands of years is equally applicable today. How is it? We shall see this. Yoga, which is the conjunction of two things, self and the environment. Sadhana, the wheel that is available, the car that is available for us to reach the ultimate objective is around. So how is it that we can go through it? I shall take you through my session in following manner. Talk a little bit about Triguna Theory. And through Triguna Theory, understand the personalities which Triguna throws out. Having understood the type of personalities which exist, they existed then, in all yugas, they exist even today. How is it that these personalities apply themselves in yoga, in sadhana, and in Yoga-Sadhana? I'm happy to share that the TPS sir session would give us more into yoga, Yoga-Dharana, which again would be somewhere part of sadhana, one of the means. And then try and put both Triguna and Yoga-Sadhana together and see how it impacts us in our daily life. When I look back at Triguna, the origin goes back to the Vedas, Sankhya philosophy. And even if I go beyond Vedas, the time since immemorial, even before our planet Earth was born and the cosmos was there and no one was there, if I take you from two angles, from the Indian philosophical perspective and the Western scientific perspective, what does it say? It says the consciousness existed sometime. That consciousness, the Purusha, which has been there. And once some kind of matter was created, Prakriti was created, rest of the things came about. And since the time Prakriti came up, it had characters. And those three characteristics of Triguna existed ever since. And it exists amongst all of us. A look into the Western perspective says that when cosmos came up, the Big Bang theory came up, what was there at that point of time? All nebulous, gaseous, viscous. Actions and reactions were going on. And somewhere when our planet or our solar system or other systems solidified and a system was formulated, some kind of cosmos got created. If I come back to our planet Earth or our solar system in particular, when Earth got created, it had a cosmos, no life, no life. That Purusha might have existed. The conscious may have existed, to which none of us is privy. We are all making these things. Some believe in it, some do not believe it. Rest assured, whether we believe or we don't believe, there was something which solidified the earth formed with no life on it. Therefore, when the first slightest of hydrogen came up, oxygen came up, when the water came about, maybe billions of years ago, and with that, some life started. So if that smallest of life started in one single cell, whether in air or in water or on earth, that was one single cell. As is known, it got created in water first. And from that one cell, the second cell came about, the third cell came about, and gradually the life in water, the life on earth, the plant life, and everything started. Our ancient philosophy talks of Dashavatar, before the human form came about. So when that one single cell started, the life started. And that kind of air, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, those which came either in the cell or through that prana, the life started coming in. And from then till today, there are billions and billions of varieties of life that are existing. But remember, where was the origin? That one cell. So when you say you are there, I say I am Mr. Me. No, I am is primary. Where did you and me come from? All of us came from that one cell. And therefore, the origin of all of us go back to that one single cell. And therefore, we are definitely connected in one or the other form. When you talk of Prakriti, the three forms or the three characteristics that started with that one cell existed in all forms of life. It exists even today in all forms of matter, all forms of life. And when we started our studies, Vedic philosophy came about. And we learned about all these things, and we said so. Atharvaveda talks of Jivatma, Paramatma, Advaita, non-duality, and things like it came about. One of the ancient, the wisdom that started in Ramayana during Ram's period shows it all. When you talk of Triguna, Maryada Purushottam Ram exhibited the best form of the Prakriti, the three forms that are there. You call it three sets of people, three sets of characteristics in each individual, each form of life, it existed. And Mahabharata is full of all that. And origin and successive philosophies that came about, whether in the East or West, all of them had these characteristics. The West does not recognize Triguna as three different forms, but good and evil is recognized by everyone in the simplest of forms. And be it all forms of religions or lives or civilizations, it has existed. One of the best psychological theories or texts which are available are Manduka and Taittiriya, Upanishads. One of the best forms of seeing consciousness, seeing personality from Triguna point of view are available. When we go back to Mahabharata, you go to chapter 2, 14, 16, 17, 18, they're so full of life about Triguna. How an individual can go down from the top soldier, top archer, the brave man, to a state of depression and stress, and then rising back to come back to the form. You call it sattva, you call it rajas, and then it comes to fight the war. So when you talk of Triguna, we all know sattva, rajas, and tamas. But beyond that also something exists. So when we talk of tamas, I started with tamas first, negative first. And it's that state of slumbers to fore of indolence, where inertia is prime. Laziness is the highest. Darkness, sleep, sloth, and so on. The mental state of an individual is more towards inertia, more towards negativity, more towards energy giving out negative outputs, whether for an individual or for the society. And when the discrimination between right and wrong is given, tamas takes you to the negative or wrong side, and it's a turbulence that the river makes aimlessly, where the destination is definitely the destruction. However, at the same time, when you talk of tamas, it is required, that inertia is required to gather the mass, to gather the energy, and then move from...
Sir, you are muted, sir. Sir, please unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself.
You telling me, sir?
Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, you are not audible.
Am I not audible?
He is audible. Rajput ji, you are audible. You are
Right.
we are able to hear you.
Audible. I have no problem.
Acha. So, all right. Thank you. Thank you, TPS, sir, for validating. Right. So, all right. You can see my presentation, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I was talking of the tamas. Why I started from negativity is that beyond that, there can't be below zero. It's only upward and mobile, though everyone starts with sattva, including Mahabharata. But I changed the form for my own self to understand that if I am the guy who knows nothing and I have to go up, the only way is upwards. Then comes the rajas. How long will you stay in a state of inertia? How long will you stay in continuous state of laziness? The graph has to fluctuate, the curve has to go up and down. And if you've been at the lower side of the curve, it has to finally come up. The top of the curve is, of course, sattva, and when rajas is the one which gets you the energy going. Energy can be utilized either way, towards negativity or towards positivity. But it is that will to do, will to achieve, will to create something possible, something successful. And it may mean more towards material world as of today. It may mean even the negative world, even a bank robbery today or a fraud in banks or fraud in any of the systems is the energy which has been led by tamas to create that negative output. So whether it is because of self-orientation, self-centeredness towards ahankar or towards achieving a very satisfied life, then it goes towards the plus side. And this tireless ambition to succeed either way, positive or negative, that is taken in both terms I'm taking, and it prevails. So this kind of impatience, this kind of energy can lead you and me to either of the sides. And then is the positive side. Everyone knows and talks about sattva, goodness, purity, wisdom, knowledge, and the entire consciousness coming into us to give us what? The positivity, the ray of hope, the enlightenment. And when it is coming, it is that satisfaction that gets into you and me to have done something good. And if you help someone achieve the right potential, I think the predominance of sattva and goodness continues to prevail. And that's all Triguna talks about. Now, there is an issue wherein you say that, an individual is sattva oriented. So you could comfortably say that the person is positively oriented. Well, good, very good. The issue that I would like to bring and talk at this point of time, I'll blanket for a second, please. That if the issue is towards goodness or badness, I'll put it in a very subtle manner. That if I have to do good, can I be continuously in the state of goodness? Will I have no moment of inertia? Will I have no moment of rest? Will the energy continue to boost me all along? That's simply not possible. At a point of time, I shall get tired and I shall need sleep. So best of sattvas will need rest. A personality can be sattva oriented, dominant, predominance may be there. But all along 24 hours, possibly not. And while you and me are talking, my mind goes somewhere else and there is a negative thought that strikes me. And I get disoriented from this particular talk to that uneasiness. What happens? My sattva has got oriented towards negativity. Yes, Rao sir, Pramod sir, I'll finish in dot 45 minutes and leave the rest 15 minutes for the question answers. So what I intend saying is, एक तो क्षणिक सत्व है, क्षणिक तमस है, और एक परमानेंसी है, प्रिडोमिनेंस है सत्व का या तमस का. तो पर्सनालिटी कैन बी टेम्पररीली negatively oriented or positively oriented, but it will have predominance in its own characteristics. All right. So you see people like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or even Elon Musk today, all of them are very, very successful people in life. Do I say that all of them are sattva oriented all the time? Or in their lives, they had their negative rajas, tamasic rajas predominance, and activity went towards that, and they've come out and now become suddenly positive and sattvic and 40 billion plus charity and so on. How does that happen? It happens with very, very simple things. That in what state you are today describes what you are as of today. The past and futures can be analyzed in a trend line, of course, can be drawn to see that. And when I attach the same with what Bhagavad Gita tells us, this is Shloka 5 of chapter 14. The chapter 14 itself is dedicated to Guna Traya Vibhag Yoga. Traya Guna, teen guno. Initially, the first 2 and 3 shlokas, Lord Krishna tells him that the entire world is oriented towards positivity, the way I go and convey. And when he comes to Shlok 5, he says, Sattvam Rajastam iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadhananti mahabaho dehi nam vyayam. Hey Arjun, 3 गुण सत्व, रजो और तमस, इनसे ही, ये प्रकृति से उत्पन्न तीनों ही गुण है जो अविनाशी जीवात्मा को शरीर में बांधते हैं. He says, because there is a body, so these three characteristics are there, 3 gunas are there, or because there is a soul that has come to reside in my body and it has 3 characteristics, so my soul is connected to my body with these 3 gunas. How I apply them in my life is up to me. Is up to me, purely up to me. And the cycle of birth and rebirth would continue. Chapter 17, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, says similar things. It says, Ye Shastra Vidhi Mutsrajanya Yajante Shraddhayan Vinta Tesham Nishtha Tuka Krishna Sattamaho Rajastamaha. Hey Krishna, जो मनुष्य शास्त्र विधि को त्याग कर श्रद्धा से युक्त हुए देव देवी का पूजन करते हैं, उनकी स्थिति फिर कौन सी है? He questions them. सात्विकी, राजसी या तामसिक? Now it is his own condition. I try and correlate it with the present context. Shastra Vidhi is his own duty to fight at that point of time. इसको छोड़ करके अगर वो पूजा करता है तो वो कौन से गुण में है? It reminds me of राम ने जब अपनी धनुष, सीता के वर में धनुष को तोड़ दिया था, तो भगवान नाराज होकर के आ गए कि उनके शस्त्र को किसने तोड़ दिया. तो वो ईश्वर भी जब नीचे आकर के तमस को लेकर के गुस्सा हो गए, तो अर्जुन, आप और मैं क्या चीज है? All our activities, all our sadhanas, all our resources of the world today are available to us to achieve certain objectives. And these objectives, by all these resources, you call them rajasic, you call them tamasic, or some of them are sattvic as well. So what is the state that we are in when Arjun asks Krishna? He tends to say and convey to him कि जो मनुष्य शास्त्र विधि को त्याग कर देवी देवताओं की पूजन करते हैं, उनकी जो स्थिति है वो राजसिक ही रहेगी, राजसिक सात्विक रहेगी. प्रोफेसर Pramod and others may elucidate the same later on. For me, suffice to say that in whatever condition, situation we are today, if you correlate with the past, situations were different, resources were different, people were different, but the three characteristics were still constant. They are existing even today. Trividha bhavanti, Shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja, Satviki rajasi, Chaivatamsi chetitam shado. भगवान बोले मनुष्यों की वह शास्त्रीय संस्कारों से रहित केवल स्वभाव से उत्पन्न श्रद्धा तीनों किस्म की है, सात्विक, राजसिक और तामसिक. ऐसे ही तीनों प्रकार की. And then he goes on to explain in rest of chapter 17 as to what each one of them is and how it impacts. It takes me back when you talk of Triguna, Purush and Prakriti I spoke, Mahat, Buddhi it came in, and then gradually as Ahamkar came in, and that's where Triguna with the Prakriti took birth. And these three characteristics are further divided and subdivided for our ease of understanding. Manas is one which talks of our psychology. Indriyas of cognition, these are the tools which are existing for me to assess sattva, to not only assess, to access sattva. Eyes, ears, nose, these five of them. Then indriyas of action, hands, feet, speech, excretory organs of generation, and so on. So sattva has got the tools and the actions and then the psyche, which makes all of us absolute in condition to perform the best. Rajas, as we had discussed, is the energy which can be channelized towards sattva or can be channelized towards tamas. And if you look at tamas, tanmantras and bhutas, these are the two negative characters which come out of sound, touch, form, flavor, smell, ether, air, water, and so on. Bhutas, Panch Mahabhuta. Even Panch Mahabhuta, if you see, have been characterized by three gunas among themselves. And air and earth, you can very clearly say sattva for air and tamas for matter, for air and matter. And other three can further be correlated with the composition of sattva, tamas, and rajas. Let me. Okay. The same thing when I see the journey of consciousness into matter, the same things can be seen that these elements of sattva are organic in nature and those of tamas are inorganic in nature. And to understand that the energy channelized on either of the side will result into its own characteristics. Goswami Tulsidas said, Ishwar as jeev avinasi, chetan amal sahaj sukharasi. जीव का यह अविनाशी स्वरूप वास्तव में कभी भी गुणों से नहीं बंधता. My soul doesn't get tied because of these three gunas. परंतु जब यह विनाशी देह को, विनाशी देह, after all the body is going to die, not the soul. इसमें मैं, मेरा, मेरे लिए जब मैं वो मान लेता हूं तब मैं त्रिगुणा से बन जाता हूं. Till the time I don't tie myself up with the body, everything is okay. तब वह अपनी मान्यता के कारण अपने गुणों से बन जाता है और उसके परमात्मा तत्व की प्राप्ति में कठिनता प्राप्त होती है. So all that he is trying to convey is that I need not get connected with my ahankar, with my ego, with my body and the environment around. When I get tied up with these things, that's where the challenge starts. That way the rajas starts going towards the tamas. Coming on to the personalities that come out of Triguna or Sattva. There are 7 types of Sattva personalities: Brahma Sattva, Mahendra Sattva, Varuna Sattva, Kuber, Gandharva, and Yam Sattva. All of them, they originate from Sattva and have impact of the nature of Sattvic predominance in you or me. The predominance depends on how much I concentrate on myself, how much I concentrate towards positivity, towards creating a satisfaction in life, towards creating happiness in life. The Rishi Sattva, which is based on the Rajas, that is activity, action, are Asura, Rakshasa, Pisacha, Sarpa, Preta, and Shakuna. 3 types of Tamas Sattva are Pasava, Matsya, and Vanaspatya Sattva. These 16 types of personalities have been identified through variety of sattvas. And when you look at these personalities and look at your consciousness, then look at your spirituality, or I say sadhana, then somewhere that connection comes into as to what kind of identification you will earn for yourself in your entire life. Would you be called कि ये इंसान बहुत ही सात्विक ब्राह्मण था, not by religion or caste, but by his spirituality? Or he would be called he was a Pisach or Matsya. So the personality takes you through your definition in your life, in my life, that I shall be known by ABC. Whether I shall continue to have the same cycle of birth or rebirth, or if I work so hard that I shall get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. And when that happens, possibly my life has succeeded in whatever manner, whatever sadhana towards the ultimate. The West doesn't believe in say past life, birth or rebirth. It's all right, but kam se kam karma to samajh mein aata hai na. They all say as you sow, so you reap. Jaisa karega waisa bharega. Tit for tat. Now, whether it is Charvak says this or the Western philosophy says this, that this is one life and enjoy it and have best of it all. By all means, please have best of it. But how do you have best of it? When you do good, you will get good. Na? You can't get good by doing bad. That's exactly what we also say. Karma Yoga also says. Our Prakriti also says. Prakriti says that do good means you are going towards goodness, going towards sattva. When you go towards sattva, you will not do bad things, ills to others. Whether it is contemporary world of today or that of the past, you will strive to do good. And when you do good, your karma, your actions are becoming positive, balanced. When those are happening, whether you believe in past life or not, at least you are making your present life a wonderful life. When you are doing this, part of your past life ills are also being covered. And if you are able to do excellent goodness in this one very world, I think you've taken care of the next birth as well. And maybe that you become so good that you don't have to get back to the cycle of rebirth again. And when you achieve that, I think you achieve the best. And achieve the best. Right. Sushruta Samhita says it all. You know, it talks about the personalities and how these personalities can actually support you and me. Chitta Vriddhi Nirodha. And says everything possible. And based on Triguna, before I really go to sadhana, a personality index has also been developed, wherein you and me can identify what kind of personality you are, what percentage of sattva or rajas or tamas do you and me have in ourselves. It is called as Vedic Personality Inventory, designed somewhere in 1955, and is used to quite an extent. Majority of it in India. The West hasn't used it much. Though there are personality theories and large number of psychometric tests from the West which we all follow. It is time that our Triguna, which talks about personality in such an elaborate manner, something like Vedic personality inventory can be followed in our schools, colleges, our society, to understand how much of each content we possess, momentarily or permanently, and how can we graduate from tamas to rajas and rajas to sattva. And at any point of time, my emotion expresses what kind of state of sattva, rajas or tamas I am in. And how is it that majority of my time I can remain positive? सत्व रजस का कॉम्बिनेशन बना करके मैं मेजॉरिटी टाइम रह सकूं, तमस अपना एनर्जी इकट्ठा करने के लिए, रेस्ट करने के लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकूं, ना कि किसी और के नुकसान पहुंचाने के लिए. If I can achieve that much, I think the true sense of Triguna can be achieved. Coming on to sadhana, when you talk of sadhana, we say साधक, साध्य और साधना, इन तीन का मिश्रण मिल करके हमको सब कुछ दे देता है. साधक is you and me. साध्य is the objective that you wish to achieve. Sadhana is the car, is the wheel or the process or tartib that you follow to achieve your objective, to achieve your sadhya. And when you talk of sadhana, it is very purely objective oriented, and when it is objective oriented, it can be physical objective, it can be psychological objective. If you have a disease and you don't know that you have a disease and you learn to live with that disease, you don't even know that you're living with a disease. Similar is with ignorance. When you live with such kind of life, you don't know, then what sadhana do you do? How do you get out of this? Maybe learned people, good company, satsang, all those are means by which you can do that. Yoga is one very strong vehicle which has been given to us, and it can provide any means of achieving the objective. Sadhana can be described as 12 different forms of sadhana. Can be Dev sadhana, Brahma, Indriya, Sanyam, Yoga sadhana, Dravya sadhana, Swadhyaya sadhana, Vrata sadhana, Pranayam sadhana, Ahara sadhana. Ahar, Ayurveda are so well. And sadhana and Dhyana sadhana. One of them is Dhyana sadhana, which Professor TPS would be talking about in the second session. But when you use sadhana, it can achieve anything. And all these 12 types or varieties that I've said, it existed then, they exist even today in the most modern technical sciences of the world today. We use this kind of sadhana. Sadhana is that practice, that penance, that tapasya, which you do continuously to achieve something. Eklavya achieved this sadhana by simple, very, very simple methods, no elaborate means. He did not even have a guru. The same sadhana was achieved by Arjun by constant practice, karma yoga, karma yoga. You can go for dhyana yoga and say, achieve sadhana. Patanjali has given 8 sutras. Patanjali 8 sutras of Yoga-Sadhana. Yam niyam se lekar ke right up to dhyan dharana samadhi tak ka. Which vehicle you follow is up to you. Ultimate aim is to achieve the best, achieve happiness, blissful state, where you feel complete in yourself. Whether you attach it to physical means, psychological means, spiritual means, or any of these means. That reminds me of the story of Sanat, Sujat and Narad, wherein they are wanting to understand the truth. And Narad explains in great detail. Sanat gives the knowledge to Narad and Narad becomes his disciple. But Narad, so Sadat asks him कि क्या तेरे पास क्या ज्ञान है और आपको और क्या ज्ञान चाहिए. So Narad says, I know everything. I know Vedas, I know history, I know math, science, astrology and blah blah. I know everything possible, but I am not happy. Now, how does this happiness comes despite all the knowledge, all the wealth, everything? So Narad says, Soham Bhagavo Shochami. ये सब होने के बाद भी मुझे शोक है, मुझे दुख है, मुझे grief है. So Sanat very humbly says, Namay Vetat. What you know are just the names. All the sciences, all the knowledge that you have are just names that you know. But what you need to say is Nam Brahma, Vach Brahma, Mane Brahma, Sankalpa Brahma. You need to say Chittam Brahma when you are trying to say this and achieve this. Possibly you will see Brahma in everything. And when you start saying, that's the sadhana which leads to everything possible towards the true happiness. And then he says, Sukham Bhagavo Vijigyanas iti. So the shloka that so beautifully Sanat recites is Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukhamasti bhumav sukham. He says, O Narad, Paramatma is the very form of bliss, and no happiness is a mundane subject. Bhumatvavev vijigyasitavya. If you want to overcome the misery, if you really want to be happy and overcome all the illness, sadness, ignorance, or the misery that you're going through, then you should realize that Brahma or the Paramatma is the supreme Atma, and you could follow that. So sadhana is that one session which can lead you to anything. Many of my students, friends, adults, couples who come to me for such counseling, and I find in my personal experiences that majority of us are outwardly very happy. Oh, sab kuch hai ji, koi chinta wali baat nahi hai. But inwardly, within ourselves, there is so much of pain, so much of dukkha. Why so? This is so because we all do not know the power of yoga, the power of sadhana. We understand life, but we do not know how to balance Triguna in this life. And the entire complex situation can be made so simple by focusing on one single name, one single God, one single practice. If you are a doctor, just practice very, very truthfully your profession. You are an engineer, do that very sincerely in the name of the God, not in the name of tamasic activities, and so on. And it is so directly related to your and my life through Panchakosha. Jaisa khayega ann, वैसा बनेगा मन is a very common quote in our daily life. हर घर के अंदर ये बोलते हैं. क्यों? Because Annamaya Kosh says all this, that whatever I eat becomes my body, becomes me, and I'm the carrier of my soul. If I feed my soul goodness, it will become good. So is with Pran, Man, Vigyan, and Anandamaya Kosh. I'm close to my session, suffice to say, and I'm trying to join all of them together to say that Yoga-Sadhana और त्रिगुणा को मिल करके अगर हम काम करना चाहें तो हो सकता है, संभव है कि हम खुशियां रखें और खुशियां बांटें. The session that I started with was opening our videos, smiling faces, and say, are we all happy? And we said, yes, we are all happy. Now, happy to what context? In the context of Triguna, in the context of sadhana or achieving the objectives, or putting all of them together and say that, yes, this life is once and I can do it. I can make it a very balanced life. Very balanced life would have predominance of sattva and a sadhana. Sadhak, you and me become sadhak to achieve an objective which may be anything. The questions arise, is it applicable today? Yes, very much. दुख तब भी थे, दुख आज भी है. उनसे पार पाने का तरीका तब भी था, आज भी है. And very simple. Instead of getting complexities, implication, development issues, why not use simplification methods of making it so good, happy, satisfying? Smile at each other and majority of the problems go away. The next question that comes to my mind is, can you follow it in the same fashion? As I said, situation and people were different. The principles, the theorems, the context still remains the same, whether it is Kali Yuga or it was Treta Yuga or Dwapar Yuga. You take any other yuga. You know? But the next question is what I intend stressing on. Do we understand them? Part of it, yes. The philosophical bodies, the professors, the educated people, we understand. But how much do we actually apply? That's a bigger question. And if we start applying in our little world, I in my family and you in your family and everyone does it in and around us, I think the job is achieved. And can I use my mind to ensure the dominance of sattva and sadhana in my life? I don't have to go into a jungle, sit under a peepal tree and achieve bodhisattva. No. I just have to remain in this world, contextual, do my duties every day, but in the name of the God and in the name of goodness, if not the God. Goodness of humanity at least can be followed. With this, I come to the end part of it to say that Gautam Buddha achieved nirvana. So beyond the three gunas, if you can achieve, that's the ultimate state of happiness when you are in absolute trance. And as leaders, as elders in the family, society and all, we impact each one of us around us. So we impact the society, we impact the nation, and it goes on. See people like Hitler, Vivekanand, Manekshaw, Putin these days, Zelensky, Biden. You can count a number of these names and put them into the sequence of Triguna. You can put in the Yoga-Sadhana and see where is each one of them and put your face also somewhere in between and look where you are. Identify where you want to go. And that's the gap you will identify. How do you fill that gap? You want to use Karma Yoga, you want to use Dhyana Yoga, you want to use any form of yoga, please do. Sadhana is any one of the means which is available to us to achieve that. With that, I come to the conclusion and say that it is all existing, it is applicable, it can happen. Thank you all. I finished. If there are any questions, I shall attempt to answer.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Rajpurohit sir, for your thought-provoking talk on Triguna Theory and Yoga-Sadhana. And you have also said unfolded the secret of happiness with the practical application of Triguna Theory. At first, you have said how consciousness is very important in Indian and Western perspective. You have explored the existence of consciousness from Triguna perspective and reflecting upon the practical aspects of Sattva, Raja and Tamas. You have said how to apply the Triguna theory in everybody's life to have an integrated personality to get happiness in each walk of our life. You have also said how to implement it in educational institutions for the integrated development of our students to have their good life. And with this, I would like to request Dr. Rao to
Dr. TPS, and thank you, Dr. Rajpurohit sir. Both the lectures were very good, and I should doubly thank Dr. Jeevan Rajpurohit sir, because he started and many of the clarifications could come from Dr. TPS, because that is where something new has come, something a refinement to the understanding has come. I should thank both of you for that, because initiation is required and certain say modifications and giving a new dimension to thought, or rather certain refinements to the thought process. So that has taken place in Dr. TPS, and I should thank him for that. So to start with, well, I think Dr. Pramod Kumar Das is working on this area. So I would request Pramod Das sir to have a few words so that we can initiate further. Pramod Kumar Das sir, because he is working in that area.
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed both the talks delivered by great speakers. I shall speak only one sentence what I learned from both of them, that is self transformation. This only this word. Dr. Rajpurohit spoke about that through Triguna, and Dr. TPS spoke the same thing through the pure consciousness, the power of consciousness. So the aim is self-transformation. That is the goal of life. That is sadhana, and that is also the goal. Self-transformation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. Well, Krishnamurti sir wanted to say something. Sir, welcome, sir. Krishnamurti sir.
I didn't raise my hand, but still I am tempted to ask because you have asked me to ask. The question is to Dr. Jeevan. Sir, thank you very much for your excellent presentation of Triguna Theory and Yoga-Sadhana, quoting from various scriptures and other things. I'm really thankful to you, sir. But what is the purpose of Guna? Please tell me, number one. Number two, what are the uses of Guna? Number three is how do they react with each other? If you can kindly explain, then I can 100% understand of what you have asked, whether I am 100% happy or not, so that I can put it into use and convert it into 100% happiness. But still, I'm not 100% happier, because if the society is happier by 100%, I'm really happy. If I am happy 100%, I'm certainly not happy, because I'm also equally concerned with the lives of the people living on this universe. Thank you.
Thank you, Srini sir. You yourself are a Gyata on this subject, and I had the opportunity of
I'm nothing in this. Sorry, I'm nothing. I'm just a catalyst.
Yeah, I had heard this catalyst once in Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, where we conducted the national seminar on Triguna itself.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I suppose those insights are leading you to the questions that you have posed today. The purpose of Guna. You see, the very existence of the entire Prakriti is composed of Guna. So when you say purpose of Guna, is you're asking purpose of the planet existence. So if you are asking for existence of our survival, our universe, our cosmos, it's far too big a subject to be handled by a micro mini human being like me. But at the same time, you and me have a soul which has come from the same cosmos. It has got the same intrinsic qualities of the cosmos, of those three gunas, which are there in me, which are exhibited through me by the soul, by the consciousness, by the past birth, or whatever my karmas of the day are. And therefore, if you ask me what is the purpose of gunas, possibly I would say that if I can maintain a fine balance between my existence and the consciousness which is existing, I think I would succeed. And if I'm not trying to become too philosophical, I'll try to be practical in life, that all of us have to live this life. All plants, animals, and the human beings, we are the lucky ones that we can express, talk, interact, and given a chance, we can improve ourselves. So we are those lucky people who, having understood the very existence of the cosmos, also understand that the ultimate tattva lies in what Dr. TPS said is the ultimate happiness, ultimate truth. That's the ultimate truth. Rest all is the bondages, boundaries that you and me talk about. So the purpose to me, my personal appreciation is maintain a fine balance to enjoy every day, every moment of my life. The second question is, what are the uses of Triguna? Whether
Okay, once again. Okay, I understand your interpretation of the uses, but as far as I'm concerned, the gunas are existing only for the sake of helping others. That is my perception.
Absolutely. So whether when I say that I will do it myself, I am automatically doing for you as well. When you do for yourself or society, you are what he says, detached attachment. You know, when I am saying that, okay, let me be good, I am actually being good from within myself that will impact my immediate surroundings. That's my society. And that's what you said, that if 100% society is happy, I shall be happy. So if each member of the society is happy, the entire society is happy. Ultimately, a nation is happy when each individual of the nation or a clan or a group is happy. Where does this happiness come from? As we have already discussed, the gunas have got this curve or sukha and dukha, sattva and tamas, and the energy in between leads to one or the other side. Which side you wish to remain is up to you, up to me, up to all of us. And when each member of the society decides that yes, plus and minuses will come, and I shall still continue to be good. Dukha is as much part of my life as is the sukha. And the how do they react with each other? Yes, very well. I just said the two ends of the strand, and both of them exist in the same life, same human being, same society, same cosmos. And therefore, they are intrinsically intertwined. And therefore, you cannot detach a dukh with the sukh, or say sattvic nature with the tamasic nature. They are part of me. At a moment I am sattvic, at another moment I am tamasic. And therefore, what I draw the analogy from, TPS said that instead of 33.3% equidistributed, I try and balance it to 50 towards sattva and rest towards rajas and tamasic, so that they energize me towards gravitating to sattvic stance. And if that can happen, I think whether it is my 100% happiness or the society's 100% happiness can well be achieved. The main issue lies is not in the philosophy. The main issue, as far as I think, lies in the implementation of my understanding in the contextual world, in the contemporary world today. When I'm talking to you, I'm being very sattvic. When I go out in the market, when I deal with my traders, deal with my business and other people, at times I'm so moron, so selfish in my approach, so tamasic in my dealings. How do I then get the ultimate happiness when inside core of mine is tamasic, and outwardly I'm trying to say, oh, all is very good, and I'm being very good to you. That doesn't happen. It would happen. Charity begins at home. When I start doing it with myself in all forms of my core activities, my other activities, or my life as such, I think that's the time the balance would come in, and the nature would play its own cards, and I shall have to deal with it. More inputs from the august learned members are solicited.
Thank you, sir. And one more thing I would like to say about the properties which I have asked. I think they are there only for mutually supporting, dominating, and protective and cooperative. These are the properties of the gunas which I understood. I think it really applies in the real sense. If you agree with me, then it's okay. Otherwise, I will have to learn a lot from this. Thank you.
Perfectly fine. I perfectly am in full sync with you. The entire existence of happiness of mine with my family is how I balance myself with them. Whether I call them my relational balance or my soul-to-soul balance, it's all for us to visualize, see it, understand it, and then apply it.
Also in Sri Devi Bhagavatam, please read chapter 3, sloka 8, which is very excellent in interpreting the three uses of the three gunas. which will really love to, read and interpret it to other forums also. Thank you.
Sure, I shall. TPS, sir, would you like to enlighten us on chapter 3.8?
Bhagavatam.
Welcome, Dr. TPS.
Sorry, Devi Bhagavatam.
Dr. TPS, sir, some your observations, sir, on the entire issue, sir. Dr. TPS.
I think all of us have got a goal, role, and value balancing. That is what is life. That is what ultimately Dr. Jeevan wanted to say. We have a role to play and we have a goal. And the value system which we talks about, Sattvic, Tamasic, Rajasic, has to be played in different places accordingly with the balancing. If you don't know how to play it, maybe sometime you will enjoy, but later you will feel, oh, I should not have done it. That is where the crime happens to most of the people, and that's where people become unhappy. While doing, you are happy. Probably you find a justification for not doing or doing. So the conflict is within us. There is a manas and the buddhi, which always try to keep conflicting. The more and more we learn, we find the textbooks for justifying. Which textbook, which chapter, which sloka you want to use it for justifying. I don't think uneducated people have this problem. I found when I went and sat in front of a ophthalmologist when I was doing psychology research, he says educated people come, it is very difficult to test them. The uneducated fellow, if he is able to see, he will say, yeah, I am able to see. Educated fellow will start testing the ophthalmologist themselves. They'll say, no, I am not. The earlier glass was good. So what he does is he takes it back and keep it the same thing. Now it is good. He keeps the same glass only because he knows better psychology than the patient. He has been doing it for many people, right? And then he will say, that's it. So the more and more we get educated, we have this problem. Otherwise, people have. That is why in Krita Yuga, people were happy. They were living with nature. When it comes to Treta Yuga, you have little more problems, right? And the problems are between one society to another society, not within family. But when Dwapara Yuga came, the fight became within the family. And today in Kali Yuga, the problem is within all of us. It is all self-created, self-problems only. There are no problems in the society. It's only ego. It's only self-satisfaction. I don't think the war between two countries are not because of society requirements. It is only individualistic requirements. They don't know how to play their role. Their goals are surprisingly bad. Right, the value system becomes zero. That is the reason which we have these problems. Devi takes different avatars and shows different fashions to illustrate the psychological aspects of every human being.
Sir, Dr. TPS, sir, yes, I understand. I have a few clarifications. If you can kindly enlighten me, I'll be very happy, sir. The question that you posed to in the forum is about show me one Shastriya literature wherein you are asked to close your eyes in meditation. Number one. My interpretation is when you do ekagratha, contemplation, concentration, contemplation, dharana, dhyana, automatically you are from ekagratha, you are switching over to contemplation. From contemplation, you are going to real dhyana, wherein you automatically close your eyes. No one advises you to close the eyes because there only the transcendental meditation called the changing state of consciousness happens. That is what my perception, and Patanjali also opines the same thing in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, wherein you have about 10 varieties of samadhis, right, from Sampragyada, Asampragyada to Dharmamega Samadhi or Kaivalya Samadhi. So under that context, I do not see how you said it, sir, please. Number two is Mahabharata was a failure. I was totally shocked, dismayed, disgruntled, because what I have read is only a war between dharma and adharma. When you say that, I think I'm misplaced about it. And number three, your deliberation about yoga sadhana, I am not even qualified to comment about it, but still it is my innate nature and happiness. I get it if you clarify my doubt. Is that you spoke yoga sadhana only from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita perspective and not from the Sankhya philosophy or Patanjali yoga philosophy perspective, sir. Please clarify my doubt.
On the first question of closing eyes, you yourself answered it. You said automatically my eyes will get closed. That's why I said nobody prescribes. But today what is happening, people will ask close eyes and concentration will come. I said closing eyes, your concentration will not come. Automatically it should get closed. You said it. I agree with you. See, today many people go to temple. The real bhakta, when they reach in front of the deity, automatically eyes will get closed. You are not seeing the God actually, you are seeing God inside. And you ask the so-called people who go to temple what they have seen. Oh, what a rush in Shabarimala, what a rush in... Are you going to Shabarimala and Tirupati to see the rush, or are you going to see the God? So they have seen only rush. See, the problem is externally people are being guided by this. That's only what I said. There is no prescription for closing eyes. Automatically your eyes get closed. Yes, you cannot close it. You don't have to close it. So it is the process of seeing may be there, but you are not processing it. So the seeing is there, but internally you are not processing it. So that state is what is called samadhi. It is not your eyes are closed. Eyes can be open, but still you don't see anything. Ears are open, but still you don't hear, get the sound at all. That is why Vivekananda said you cannot meditate on the crossroad. It is not that you cannot be on the crossroad. Disturbance is there. So many people say, I am not able to concentrate because there are a lot of disturbance. I said, when you walk on the I stay in Hyderabad. When you walk in the Charminar, when two people walk together, they hold the hand. When they speak, they don't listen to you or not. With all the disturbance, we are able to concentrate. So it is all in our mind. That's why I mentioned that. Second one, Mahabharata war. A war is fought where either you win or lose. Losing and winning is fine. But what is the speciality of Mahabharata war? Everyone has to die on the other side. You can imagine the last part where Duryodhana is dying. And every one of them go to what is called either moksha or maybe Surga or Naraka, wherever they go. You look at that suffering which all of them had. They lost their own. So who is actually the partners of the war did not gain anything out of it. Even Krishna did not. Krishna himself was telling it's all what is I am supposed to do, I am doing it, that's it. So it is nothing called winning or losing. So if you think that success is by winning, that is why I said, success is not winning or losing. When you do it for somebody else, that happiness when you derive, you feel happy about it. That is what it is. And what was the last one? Yeah, my referring to most of my learnings have been on yoga, on Hada Yoga Pradipika. When you look at Hada Yoga Pradipika, you really understand the inner meanings of even the breathing practice which you have. Bhagavan Krishna himself said, Uttara Gita, he says, Ananda Shastram Bahu Vedidavyam Alpascha Kale Bahuvascha Vigno. Ananda Shastram Bahu Vedidavyam. There are a lot of Shastras. Why do you want to waste your time learning all this? Because Alpascha Kale, you have little bit of time. Bahuvascha Vigno. Lot of troubles are there in your life. So practical action which is useful for human being. While fighting the war, that knowledge was useful. After fighting the war, don't think about knowledge and waste your time now. Don't learn. That action is over. Now, if you look at when you do pranayama, when you do it in the right style, yes. But how many people today do it in the right style? Many are misguided in the name of pranayama. So when you get misguided, what happens? You get more diseases, because prana is one of the most precious thing which you should use it very carefully. If you don't do it in the right way, you get a lot of problems. So most of the problems today is we are not conscious about our breathing. So what is pranayama? You be conscious about your breathing. I see when I learned yogasana, I'm very carefully using the word. When I learned yogasana, after that taught pranayama, I used to train young children in Hyderabad. Every Saturday we used to have satsang. I said all of them, hold your breath. But some people will hold the breath and immediately they will pump it out like a pressure cooker. That time I used to hold for some more time. What a useless thing I am doing. When you are holding breath, actually, the way I can hold, others may not be able to hold. Because each one of us have got a rhythm of life in which the way I eat, you cannot eat. The way I breathe, somebody else cannot breathe. So you cannot have one scale for everyone. And once I do that, what will happen? The breath which you take inside, automatically holding inside, make you more sick because you are not so clean. So the air content which you have 16% or 20% in the best possible, the 0.4% carbon dioxide will become 4.4. Oxygen will from 22, it will become 16. So you are holding not oxygen. The more polluted carbon dioxide with that air you are holding, hallucination will come. So this is the problem. We are not living in the world where the text was written. You cannot just copy it. And today what is Yogasana which we are doing? Who is the yoga, the father of yoga of the modern world? What was happening in the Mysore palace when the modern yoga was introduced? What was, how many postures which we had? Did we had really Shirshasana? I keep saying if we had Shirshasana by Patanjali, or we could have seen Krishna and Shiva in Shirshasana. They were Mahayogis, but you don't see them in that. So these are all, we started making some modifications. Gymnastics was added. Lot of the dilution and pollution has happened in the Yoga Shastra. So there is no point in writing Patanjali Yoga Shastra and then teaching some other Yoga Shastra. That is only what I am saying. So most of the time we polluted the traditional Bharatiya Shastra for packaging it and then selling it. I was in US, I must have attended many of the yoga practices, meditation practices being sold there in capsule way. That is all where I have got some contention. Otherwise, no.
Thank you, sir, by any means. But Patanjali Maharishi has not prescribed any yogasanas. As he said, it's only Stiram Sukham Asana.
That's what I wanted.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. TPS, for your very nice responses. But to the earlier response, sir, one thing, sir, it comes to me, I may be wrong, sir, but a bit of guidance on this. Actually, as you said, a common man has no inner conflict, and whatever inner conflict that comes, it comes to someone who is in the stage of trying to know something, of a person who is a bit elevated. So a sort of inner conflict arises, a conflict between the mind and the intellect that comes. And how do you guide such sort of persons, I say even the ordinary, the normal persons who have at least elevated to a certain state of knowledge and where they face such sort of crisis? Sir, can you please, sir? The inner conflict between mind and buddhi.
Is it to me? Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir.
The young children, by birth, we are all happy. You can see them smiling. See, you make some child to play with a pen. Show them. They will come to grab it. You pull it. They will come behind it. The time they get it, they will be happy. They will smile at you. Assume you don't give it and keep it somewhere else. Immediately, though, they will go and grab something else around them. They know how to shift their desire. We have this problem, the bindedness. Once I want something, I am behind it. So I become sick. That is because it is not emotion which is working. The buddhi is trying to control the emotion. My buddhi keep this picture of this item, I want that, I want that. You are not able to shift. That's why he said, Shankara said, Manam Darpana Samanam. When it is in front of you, you like it. When it is not in front of you, it doesn't matter. That detachment, not getting binded with that time I can use the word detachment, is good for you. But that is what children have. They can shift. We are all like that. But what has happened? Over the prarabdha karma, we started learning little bit here and there, but did not understood perfectly, so that we have a lot of confusion. So the problem is either you should have no knowledge or you have little knowledge. That is what is creating problem. See, we have a great story, mainly Chenmaya Swami keep on mentioning it, no, the rope. Either you decide it is a rope or it is a snake. You have a confusion what is there on the road, crossing the path, no, you found something, you have a confusion whether it is a rope or a snake, then you have problem. You think it is a rope and just take it and pick it and throw it, no problem. It is clean, cleared. Because you thought it is a snake, you are not able to touch it and you are not able to go further. You are confused. Most of the people are in confusion. The confusion is because of the half knowledge. And why is it happening? Because many fake people are there around. They keep on giving knowledge. Where does it happen? It happens from copying from somewhere to somewhere to somewhere to somewhere. So you have to go to, our knowledge was traditionally from Guru Parampara. If we have beautiful time with Guru, having lot of question answer. Just before this I had a lecture. There was no question answer. So what has happened? I gave 15 minutes lecture and stopped. I said good enough. Because I know there is no session for question answers. And I have to attend to this. Immediately they asked, the session was good. I said, I did not enjoy. I am very plain. I said, I did not enjoy because there was no question answer. You could have asked me to record and send it. You could have made somebody to listen. Why should waste my 1 hour for this introduction, another 15 minutes, and Thanksgiving, another 15 minutes, somebody wrap up of 15 minutes. Our 1 hour is lost. There are no people with questions. See, if you have no question answer, actually session is useless. When your learning should happen with the question. So Bhagavad Gita is not created by Bhagavan. Bhagavan did not create Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is created by Arjuna. If there are no questions, Bhagavad Gita. See, when you talk about Bhagavad Gita and you don't allow questions. I taught Bhagavad Gita twice. What I used to do, 20 minutes I speak Bhagavad Gita, 40 minutes question answer. 1 hour. But it doesn't stop 1 hour. It goes to 2.5 hours. Most of my sessions. Until the last person have question and finish it. I am not in a hurry. You are not in a hurry. Are you in a hurry for eating? Then don't come for this business. I keep saying when your Uttar Pradesh is working, Madhya Pradesh should not work. That should be the seal for knowledge. And that has to be the practice. So we don't have the patience. So what will happen? Half heard from somewhere, half heard from somewhere, you have no questions. I am 100% sure when Srinivasji is asking, it is not that he don't know. It is polishing. Every one of us have to polish. Every one of us have to polish. I used to meet my guru with a recorder, ask questions, and keep on asking questions. And some of the answers I may not understand, but I used to record, listen to that many times. Oh, this is what he told. Then I say, I understood now. Then he said, I understood. I myself did not understand perfectly. I gave you a vague answer. Now you come back to me after a month, I will give you another answer. See, there is no, when I am saying it is not 100% correct. My interpretation, my reflections on today is what I am. See, the time when Srinivasji is asking Hada Yoga Pradipika, that sloka I am not getting. I am thinking about it. I am not able to get it. So actually while answering also that thought is going. So I am not reflecting 100% in free mind. This happens. But I came with preparing something in my mind, some note was written. But Dr. Jeevan was talking something, I made a reflection on that, and my total talk is for that. Because I know that I can use it somewhere else some other day. That is why I don't use PowerPoint presentations at all. I like to reflect. I am not speaking from heart, I am reflecting. So there is nothing called knowledge. There is only called our interpretations on what we heard, what we know until now. What is the absolute knowledge? Nothing is there. Is there truth which we know? No. We know only facts. That is why we refer to Bhagavad Gita. That is why we refer to. See, I remember when Srinivasji told, it is not that I never heard Devi Bhagavatam. My childhood Bhagavatam means Devi Bhagavatam only. Later, because of Krishna's marketing people, Bhagavatam has become Krishna Bhagavatam. Otherwise, Bhagavatam for me or for whole Kerala people, it is only Devi Bhagavatam. So I remember in my childhood, my mother used to make me to chant this continuously. And we by-hearted so much. It took nearly 42 years or 43 years. When I became 43 years only, I started reflecting on what I learned in my childhood. So sometimes we learn something, reflection comes later. So it needs a lot of time. That is the sadhana. Everybody need not do it. Very few people can do it. That is good enough. Why we should have a lot of people in this world who knows everything? Not required. Because we have got many other jobs to do. If we are into this path and you enjoy it, probably we need some more time to learn. And it is not end of the knowledge. I think we are only learning little bit here and there.
May I?
Yeah.
I'll add on what you asked, internal conflict. You actually asked a question on internal conflict. And Dr. TPS was, he's actually spoken from a very vast stage to resolve the conflict. I'll come to practical ground reality of the conflict. Internal conflict, we all know intra-conflict and interpersonal conflict. Internal conflict, what you're reflecting or saying is the conflict within me. The conflict within me could be because of two reasons. Two reasons. Reason one is what I have inside and what I am thinking are at crossroads. They are not synchronized. So I am the cause, I am the effect, and I am in the conflict. The second is I am reflecting on something because of an external stimuli. Stimuli can be the situation outside, in the market, in the school, in the business, anywhere, wherein it comes into me and I reflect it and I find it not in sync. And I feel that it is again contradictory to what I am thinking. And therefore, as an individual, from the Western perspective, I see that the intrapersonal conflict is the conflict within me because of these two reasons. And if I have to resolve this, what we've been talking all through is introspecting, thinking about it, doing pluses and minuses, and from moving from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic and balancing it out, including part of sadhana to see that I put my internal issues at rest. And another point that I wish to remind us that thoughts are never ending. They are clouds in the mind. They'll keep coming in. And there is no one perfect solution, no one perfect focus, no one perfect answer to all the thoughts that are coming. To the extent that while you and me are talking, I am having different number of thoughts which are flying in and out, and so do you have. And therefore, when there is something conflicting, contrasting between the fleeting thoughts, the clouds, and what I am focusing on, it leads me into confusion. It leads me to a conflicting situation, to whatever decision I wish to take, and I am unable to take that decision. It impacts my life today. It may impact my life practically tomorrow. And therefore, in order to get a solution to this, again, what is required is sit, do plus minuses, and resolve it. There's one question from Dr. Mishra which can be addressed. Shavani Mishra is asking, sir, can you please guide us about today's peaceless situations in war between countries by which the social well-being, happiness is being disturbed? How can we address it to achieve peace? Can it be possible? With regards, Dr. TPS.
See, continuing from what you said, Chittam Karanam Arthartham.
Right.
Chitta is the problem for everything. And it also says, Purne Manasi Sampurnam Jagat Sarvam Sudhadravaihi Upana Gudapadasya Nanu Charmas Trudaiva Bohi. There are a lot of problems in the world. When do we have problem? See, morning I can have my beautiful breakfast, listening the news, what is happening in Ukraine. Do we stop breakfast when the news is happening? Only thing, when I hear the news, or I can read the newspaper, no problem. I keep making jokes sometimes. Oh, I am from Kerala. I am staying in Hyderabad. When the news says there is a fire in Kerala, immediately my eyebrows will go up. I am getting little bit closer. That is why when our news report, when they report, they immediately say, no, the fire happened in Ukraine and 4 of Indians finished. And our eyebrow goes up. And when he say one of them is from Karnataka, oh, I also studied in Karnataka. I love to know where it happened in Karnataka. So we all keep attachment. So that is why Bhagavad Gita says, the more and more attachment you have, Purne Manasi Sampurnam. It's all in the Manas. Otherwise, there are a lot of things happening around the world. The COVID happened, many people died. Ukraine war happened, many people died. The number of people dying either in the war or COVID is not more than the number of people dying in hunger in the whole world. Why we are not concerned? We are not concerned because we are only concerned with rich people and political people and government responsible people. They are also government responsible, poor. But we get detached from them because everyday problem, no. Understood? See, when there are a lot of news which comes in the newspaper with something happened, people say there are a lot of problems in the world. I said it's not because a lot of problems are there. Because there is no big problem which happened. Assume that there is a big flight collapsed. A landing, it has been burned and 300 people, 50 people died. The whole news will be covering only that. So, when bigger problem comes, smaller problem is observed. That is natural in this world. No time problems can be solved. Either this problem or some other problem. If there are no problems, like this political and pandemic problem, the newspaper will follow these people, oh, poor people died. We are not concerned about it because that is not a great concern for us. So I'm sure problems are never solved. If you look at the first part of Ramayana, you understand the world was not good during the Treta Yuga also. Dwapara Yuga, we know there are many problems. That is why Rama was unhappy. So Yoga Vasishta is this, the concept of Yoga Vasishta in one sloka is what I said. When Rama was unhappy, what is happening? And Dasharatha, that means he had 10 beautiful cars at home. And Ayodhya, no Yuddham should happen there. No war there. And in such a place, they went and fought war in some other country. You can imagine. Otherwise, war would have been in our land. No. They wanted to kidnap people, go there so that I have a reason for going there and fighting. Whichever world, when we say Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, either it in my land or other land, war is war only, right? People are dying same. So we have to find reason why is it happening. That's all what we do as human being. If we have no reasoning, I keep saying 5 wives and 1 husband solves all the problems in the world. What is 5 wives? Where, when, why, when, how, and 1 H, how it happened. You keep asking this question. As long as we have that curiosity, we find the problems. Either in the Russia it will be there or somewhere else, some other problem would have been there. Yeah, Srinivasji, I got to that sloka. Right? Pranayamena, pranayamam, if you do it in yuktam, pranayamena yuktena, sarvaroga samaraha. Pranayamena yuktena sarvaroga samaraha. Ayuktabhyasa yogena sarvaroga samudbhavaha. If you do it wrong way, ayuktabhyasa yogena sarvaroga samudbhavaha. So most of the people, when you are guiding, I guide you on breathing practice, finished. Your breathing will change inside you, many diseases will come. So actually pranayama is not to be practiced in mass. Guru to guru. Yoga was never a online program. See, I keep saying, assume that some yoga master is coming online and saying, hold your breath, and that power went off. You don't know when to release it. Finished, he will die there. So, our online programs are never practiced. Yoga is like a doctor has to touch you and find out how much breath you can take. I must know the pulse. It was 1-to-1. Now today we have become massive thing. So yoga yuktena sarvaroga samaraha. The yoga is pranayama. The pranayamena yuktena sarvaroga samaraha. Ayuktabhyasa yogena sarvaroga samudbhava. All the disease will come if you don't practice pranayama properly. So how much to breathe? My guru keeps saying, breath is not yours, air is not yours. How can I ask you to hold it? So it should be like a Tailadhara breathing. Tailadhara breathing is not, no, Tailadhara will be like a slow flow. It should flow inside you and go out without knowing. So how does it happen? I have got a small, I named it as meditation, Dr. TPS meditation. I am from Himalayan tradition, Swami Rama's disciple. So I kept one meditation, Dr. TPS. So how do we make people to practice breathing? Lie down on the bed with your tummy touching on the bed. You feel your breath. Your tummy will go up and down. Good enough. That is your pranayama. So lie down like this for some time and then feel your breathing, and you are aware of breathing. And you are aware of breathing, automatically you know how to control it and tune it. Don't do it with somebody's instructions on you, because they are different and I am different. That is what pranayama says. And once you hold your breath, that means not holding by somebody else. Liyate mana. Your mind will become so calm. Prana bandhana liyate mana. Good enough.
Thank you, Dr. TPS.
Pranachindanat, Ramana Maharshi's Pranachindanat, Leena Manasam, Ekachintanat. It goes like that. Beautiful Ramana Maharshi's slokas are there. I think I have recorded somewhere and then interpreted on them also.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very beautiful session, sir. The one thing, the last question it would be for Dr. Purohit, sir. Actually, if we take life as a process of self-transformation, now how to deal with a person, say, who has a non-understanding mindset? Well, whatever may be the input, say the case of Duryodhana. So he is never prepared to understand. So how to deal with a person who is never trying to understand? So how to deal with that? Such sort of personality, sir.
That's a real very interesting question. It is easy to share, train, teach a person who is ignorant, like a child. He or she doesn't know. So you can tell him or tell her and gradually they learn. But it is so difficult to train already trained men. He has to go through an entire change management cycle of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Now, this unlearning process and then relearning is so very difficult, which Dr. TPS had also referred, कि कितना मुश्किल है उसका cup खाली करना. No, his cup is already full. He is not ready to take any more inside. And unless he empties his cup, nothing more can go inside. So this is possible only when self-realization is there. Without that self-realization, any external force cannot, in my personal opinion, no one can make me understand anything unless I am prepared for it. So whether it is Duryodhana of Dwapar Yuga, or the literate technical experts or the visionaries of today, if they really have to achieve the happiness, sense of satisfaction, so success in professionalism is one part of it, but happiness of life that comes all along the journey has to be experienced every day. And I have to be prepared to accept that yes, I can make a mistake, you can make a mistake, that's part of life, and I can suffer through it. But tomorrow morning when I get up, I start with the fresh belief, fresh values, fresh attitude, and a new behavior. If I can build in those traits, then I think I can change, I can learn. It is so difficult to find Duryodhanas of today who are amenable to change. Change for self-interest, change for personal perspectives, yes. But change for self-improvement, self-satisfaction requires an internal awareness, internal learning, and self-readiness. I hope I'm partially able to answer.
I'm so happy Dr. Jeevan gave. I'm unstoppable. Unstoppable in this. Dr. Jeevan gave a very logical answer, but understand when you look at Mahabharata, all the questions are answered internally.
Yes.
You don't have to apply any logic. It is there inside itself. And what is the answer for the question what who asked?
Rao, sir.
Yeah. And the answer is there in Mahabharata itself. Who is the most saddest woman in this world? Gandhari. What is the reason? Her own son. And she is calling him and asking the same question what Rao asked. Why, my son? Why can't you be a good boy like your cousin brothers? Naturally, every mother will ask, right? Because even today we are saying Duryodhana is bad, Dharmaputra is good. Don't you think Gandhari was wise enough to ask the same question to her own son? Yes. Many times she asked. There are references in Mahabharata. And what was the answer? Most beautiful answer. Janami dharmam. No lessons of teaching can make people good. Learn this. Not from me. Mahabharata says, Duryodhana himself says, I got 10% mark for all the assignments. What is dharma? I can ask. You write. Answer is given because I also learned where the same school where Dharmaputra also studied. Both of them were under same professor, Jeevan only. That doesn't make so much of lesson you give students will not become good. They are from same family, understand. That's why I said the internal conflict. Same family background, and Duryodhana is much higher because his father was a king. Most earned, brightest family. The other fellow had little problem. But they studied in same school, same college, same professor taught to them. Why one became good and one became bad? Not because of knowledge. It is because of Satsang. Who was the best company for Dharmaputra? You need good mentors. If your mentor is not good, you will do wrong. That is the message from Mahabharata. The mentor for Duryodhana was from
Shakuni.
Not from India. They were from Afghanistan. Kandahar, Gandhar Naresh. So if your mentor is from Afghanistan, you will become bad. That is Mahabharata lesson. If you have the God from India, you will become good. Janami dharmam nachame pravritti. I am not able to do. I know theoretically everything. That is the problem with each one of us. We know what is correct, but we are not able to do it. Why? Janami dharmam nachame pravritti janami adharmam. What should not be done is also not known to me. Nachame nivritti. I am not able to stop doing it. Why? Kenapi kamena hridistitena yatha niyuktosi tada karomi. I am driven by my desire, unstoppable desire. That is why I am doing this mistake. Why that unstoppable desire is in me? Because my company is such people. Chakuni. So your satsang, your mentor matters. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. So the importance of satsang, not class, not by birth. No education can make people good. Otherwise, the most developed country with a lot of education would be spreading value system. Our wisdom chart with a knowledge chart, if you day, it is not 45% slope. It doesn't happen. The PhDs holders are not wiser and non. That's why I said qualification doesn't matter. My father was 0. He never attended to schools in his life. My mother never attended to classes. 3rd class dropout. But she keeps saying, I got a son. We had lot of acres of land. So I keep saying, all this is gone. Now we have nothing in our hand. And she will keep saying, Lakshana Putra Endina Yodhanam. I have a beautiful, wonderful wisdom son. Why do you require money? Alakshana Putra Endina Yodhanam. If you are so rich but you are a bad son, what is the purpose of life? So what is good? Being good. And how do we be good? It is not with the knowledge and not with the prestige, not with the power, position. It is the wisdom which we have, and that will come only with satsang. No classes. And today what has happened in education system, we have got value education and one question paper, one answer. What is value system? We will write, and you say we have introduced wisdom classes, value system classes, meditation, yoga, everything is put. And with all this yogic knowledge today in India's happiness index is 3. There are much better world outside where yoga is not in practice. This is the problem which we have. We make everything academic. Know it, understood, right examination, 100 marks, you are good. No. Satsang, good mentors, value system has to be inculcated, and that has to come. That is the purpose of all these, the scriptures what we had. We lost it. The scripture is there, but we lost those messages from that. Yeah. Sorry. I am overshooting that time.
Thank you, Dr. Jeevan, sir, and also Dr. TPS for the wonderful responses. And as the Dr. TPS said, that Dr. Jeevan's response was logical, and Dr. TPS actually he tried to answer this question from the very perspective of Mahabharata, and he said how mentor becomes so useful part in one's life, and how Guru Shishya Parampara that we carry, especially if it is taken in the right sense. Okay, in the Indian tradition, that carries lot of value, lot of weight, and that is also distorted. I shouldn't say these days, and that tradition is not continuing because of the Western influences, maybe. But if we attach to that tradition, and we can think of the richness that Dr. TPS was speaking of. So mentor plays plays a vital role in one's life. And who is the mentor? It matters. So thank you, Dr. TPS. Thank you very much for your wonderful session, wonderful responses, and I also thank Dr. Jeevan for his responses. Now let us all move to Dr. Kailash Mahana for proposing the vote of thanks. Whether he's there.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
simply speechless. It's a wonderful session. A great academic session, a great question session, and I become speechless after listening the responses made by Dr. TPS and Dr. Rajpurohit sir, and philosophy family today is grateful to both the towering personality for enlightening us, for inspiring us, for motivating us. And it's a great session, sir. I don't find in words how to appreciate Dr. TPS and how to appreciate Dr. Jeevan. I simply bow down my head before their wisdom. Now, over to you, sir. Please propose a hearty vote of thanks to all the scholars and all the viewers. And to today, Professor Pramod Pradas has given a very beautiful observation that is self-transformation is the goal of life, is the goal of sadhana, and to make, to have a that is a happiest life. And today, the questions the questions made by Professor Srinivasan and others have also enlightened us. Now over to you, sir, to propose a hearty vote of thanks and gratitude, not a vote of thanks, to propose a hearty gratitude to both the speakers and the viewers. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mahana. Well, one thing, if I refer to Dr. TPS, he said that it doesn't matter how many are attending, it matters whether I have enjoyed it or not. And to this, let me tell you, sir, actually today, most of the participants, they are busy for their lectures interview. 73 posts have come out, and most of them are busy preparing for their interview starting from 21st of this month. Say from tomorrow itself. 21st is nothing tomorrow. That's why most of them have not attended. But definitely, I think once this is shared in the group, they will be looking into, and they will understand how beautiful it was. So I say I should thank Dr.
No, Dr. Rao, one Srabani Misra is good enough.
Yes,
I saw the comments, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Savani Mishra, madam, she attends all the lectures, sir. She's committed, and she raises very beautiful questions, sir. So, thank you so much, sir. As you said, the number doesn't matter, and really so. The number doesn't matter. If a sense of satisfaction does come, actually, whether I have done my job, and it doesn't matter who is listening or not. Sir,
And I must thank Dr. Jeevan for that inputs. Otherwise, I will be something else.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gave the fire, the spark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He served. He made the base, sir, today. Actually, that's why I said in the beginning itself. So it was Dr. Jeevan's lecture that gave all the food for thought to Dr. TPS, and it was a continuous and it maintained a continuity, and the discussion that followed, and it was a harmonious whole, and to which both Dr. Jeevan and Dr. TPS tried to see things over the same issue from different angles, and that's how philosophy family finds a lot of thankfulness to them, both of you. And I should also thank Srinivas Iyer sir, who's so much committed, and for the questions that he asked. And both, I should agree, everybody will agree that the questions that he raised were very genuine. And one thing, Dr. TPS, which responded to Srinivasan, that when a true devotee doesn't want to say, he never closes his eyes. He has to have the darshana of the Lord, and automatically the eyes gets closed. And that is a learning experience that we got from Dr. TPS. Normally what we do, we go and we waste a lot of time to visit to Sabarimala or Tirupati and simply go before the deity and simply close. Everything is gone. So that closing part, the closing of the eyes, that's automatically come. And this is a great learning that I got from Dr. TPS, and I should thank for this. And this is I say a statement that can never be forgotten. And this is a thing that I can also communicate to others, but other technical things that he has said. But very nice thing that he has said is, a true devotee, for a true devotee, there is no requirement of closing the eyes consciously. Unconsciously somehow the eyes gets closed, and that is the sign of a true devotee. So it's a great learning, sir, because you are from the teachings from the Himalayan masters, you know the techniques. So thank you, sir. You are into our family. You come and you give a lot of guidance, sir. So philosophy family is very much thankful to you. But I cannot express, the words are not coming, how to thank you, sir. So thanks a lot to you, sir. And also thank Dr. Jeevan-Purohit, sir, who is from a different background, but his depth in Indian philosophy, his inquisitiveness, his zeal for studying Indian philosophy, and also expressing his thoughts in his own way, and the responses that he comes across. So it is not possible even from a very good philosophy professor, I say. So that comes only when one has a sort of inclination for this, for whatever things that we do. Because as a soldier, as an army man, he has a devotion to his duty, and so whenever he is with a lecture, he has a lot of commitment to what he says. So that's how I should. Philosophy family is very much thankful to Dr. Jeevan-Purohit, sir, and we wish to have a lot of lectures from him in future, because he is taking Indian philosophy from his own practical understanding, not from the theoretical angle. So that's how that would be helpful. So I thank you, sir. Thank you a lot, sir. I should thank Srinivasan ji for his for the questions that he raised, and that also made Dr. TPS to look into the pages, and finally he got the quotation that he wanted, and so So this is how
Pranayamena.
enlightened. He says he is learning. So that is the greatest thing that we should know. He said, you see, he's a man of great wisdom, and whatever you ask, there is a Google search TPS, but still then he says, I'm learning. And from when Krishnamurti sir asked, and he searched it, and he said, even though I'm answering you, but at the back of the mind, something else is going on. So finally he got it, the quote, and that gave the internal conflict that was there, finally got resolved. And having that, so that is commitment, and that is and many people don't have that. So number doesn't count, the commitment counts at the end of the day. And we have said both the speakers are committed, and Krishnamurti at this age still sitting with us from the beginning. So that is commitment, and that is what philosophy family actually wants. So thanking you, sir. I should thank Pramod sir also for the entire business, entire structuring of the program that is made by him. And also one line he tried to summarize both the lectures by saying that life is all about the self-transformation, and very nicely has said. And also thank Dr. Kailash Mahana sir for his introduction of the speakers. And also his part.
Yes, Dr. Rao, it is not a transformation, transformation.
Transformation.
It is transformation. That is what happens.
Sir. So thankful, sir. Thankful, sir. And one more, and to thank Shravani Mishra madam for raising the questions. Even Dr. TPS could not keep himself, from not commenting. He said, well, we should thank Shravani Mishra. Even a participant like Shravani Mishra would fill the gap of many scholars not attending today. So thank you, Shravani madam, and all others who attended this webinar and made this webinar successful. I say successful in spite of the fact, as TPS pointed, that in spite of the numbers, there is no number game here. The commitment that counts. And if we are talking about numbers, this program will be uploaded, and the people who not attend today because of the other schedules that they have, because they have to face interview tomorrow, because they are to different mindset now. So maybe they have not attended. So definitely we'll be asking them to look into these videos. Okay, that would be uploaded tonight, and I think there will be a lot of food for further thought. And this would make us to invite again Dr. TPS to come up with the original lecture that he wanted to say something. Maybe he will be coming again with his original lecture. Today's lecture was the platform that Dr. Jeevan framed, and thank you both, sir, for making this webinar so successful, so wonderful, sir. Thank you, all of you, sir. Thank you so much. So now,
I thank you also, sir.
Yes.
I thank Dr. Rao for thanking all very faithfully and very affectionately. Faithfully means when somebody proposes vote of thanks, that is also a commitment to have proper assessment, to have that how he observes not only the talk but also the intention of the talk, attitude of a presentation. Everything is observed by Dr. Rao very nicely. I was enjoying Dr. Rao also.
Yes.
With the speakers.
thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. With this, we shall close this session, these two sessions, and the philosophy family is really grateful to both the speakers. Really, both the sessions were wonderful, and the discussion was also wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now
Thank
the
you,
meeting is declared.
Sir, pranam, sir. Pranam, sir.
Pranam, sir.
Okay.
Pranam,
Pranam, sir.
Pranam, sir.
TPS, sir, Dr. TPS, sir, you said transformation. Trans is formation. I don't understand. It is meditation or what? Trans, sir. TRANCE.
You are going off from your practical world. That is actually spiritual, right?
Okay.